The real estate market is hot, 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 and with so many people, particularly millennial home buyers, searching and in some cases competing for properties, our guest says having a plan can mean the difference between the house you're dreaming about or being left out in the cold. So joining us with tips is Arlene Maloney, a Senior Vice President with Wells Fargo Home Mortgage. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much, Jordan, for having me.
Of course. So we got to know what continues to drive this incredibly hot home buying market right now.
Yeah, well, you said it right. Hot, hot, hot is what it looks like these days. And there's many factors driving that. Number one of the things that we're seeing happen is something we knew would eventually happen, but just weren't sure when. And that is millennials are entering the home buying market at a very rapid pace right now and taking up a lot of the supply. Secondly, we've just come out of a pandemic. And if you're like me, you've spent more time at home than you ever thought possible. And it really, across the country, has reinforced the value of home for so many of us. But in this hot market, you can still do well. It's just going to require that you be patient and that you have a plan.
Totally. And I'm actually glad we're talking because technically I am a millennial only by a couple years. But my husband and I just moved here 3 months ago and we are looking and they are going so quickly. It is so competitive. We're just finding that out. So what are some trends that you're seeing both nationally and locally, and how quickly are homes selling once they hit the market? I need to know.
Yeah, it sounds like you do, Jordan. And, it's interesting because we have a couple of dynamics going on that are really creating the environment we're in. First of all, we have a very tight inventory, but we also have extremely high demand at the same time. So this is creating both a seller's market and also very high competition, as I'm sure you're finding in the buyer's side of the market. But there are some good things going on as well that can help buyers. Number one, we're in a historically low interest rate environment. I mean, the current rate 30-year is about 2.99, and one of the lower rates that we've seen historically in the industry. And while we are seeing good news for you, the inventory rise slightly. We saw that happen in April. We're still seeing about a 20-year, year-over-year decrease of inventory on plots. So, all of that together, it's important that people understand, doesn't mean it's not a good time to buy. There is still opportunity out there, but that's why it is so important that you're patient, you're prepared, and you have a plan to keep on trying.
And that's the thing. I'm being patient. I don't want to settle. We want to be happy with our purchase. So, and you did mention making a plan. So what are some of the tips that you have for planning for a big purchase?
Yeah, so important. Number one, you want to make sure that you ask all the questions of the professionals that are in this business, that they can help you understand not just what you can qualify for, but also how this process works. At Wells Fargo Home Mortgage, we have an army of home loan mortgage consultants that are available to help people just like you who are in that process to understand and be ready. But secondly, I like to say, find your funds before you find your house. In a hot market like this, you need to go in looking at homes, ready to make offers with a pre-approval in hand. So make sure you're sitting down with someone and getting that done, because this can give you confidence as well as a strong position when you start making offers. And then third, I would say prioritize what's important. What are your must-haves versus your nice-to-haves? And make sure you stick to that and be patient and stick with your plan. It will make all the difference, and you'll eventually find that home.
Okay, Arlene, I'm taking notes right here. These are all such great tips, but we also have to talk about different costs we might not be realizing. So what are some of the costs we should take into consideration that we might not be thinking about?
Yeah, it's a great question and something that not everyone always thinks through. So number one, you need to understand all the financial aspects of buying a home so that you can ensure long-term financial success. Down payment. Are you going to put a higher down payment or a lower down payment down? Both have different outcomes. And again, you need to sit down with a home mortgage consultant or someone who can walk through with you what those outcomes are. So next, you need to make sure that you take into account that the payment is not just the principal and interest. There's also taxes, there's insurance, and all of those factors need to go into you deciding which home is right for you. And then lastly, I say, When you are looking to buy a home and you finally get that home of your dreams, don't stop your savings plans. You need to be saving for a rainy day. Something's going to come up. You're going to have a leaky dishwasher, a furnace is going out, but you need to be prepared for those unexpected costs that come along. Jordan, buying a home is a very emotional experience. I'm sure you're finding that out. What's so important, though, is that people have a plan, they stick to that plan, and they make decisions based on that plan versus the emotion.
That's good to know. So if someone else is in the market looking for a house or maybe even selling, where can people get more information?
Yeah, thanks for asking. If they go to www.wellsfargo.com/my first home, there's a wealth of information that can get them either started in the process or help them wherever they're at in that process.
Well, I think you've had some great tips, Arlene. Thank you so much for your time this morning and afternoon.
Yes, thanks, good, Jordan, and good luck to you and all the home buyers in your
Thank
marketplace.
you so much. Yeah. And if you'd like to see this segment again or get more information, go to firstcoastliving.net.